Shalom, shalom. I am Rabbi Jeff from the Rock of Israel congregation. Welcome to the channel. And today's video is going to be the first of a couple-part series on the Mishkan and its relevance and application to your everyday life. It's not just a list of items and instructions on building a tent out in the wilderness. It is, of course, that, but there's so much more, and there's some deep application. And today, the first video, we want to just take a look at the Adonim, the silver sockets, which form the foundation for the tabernacle in the wilderness. And the main text, and I'll paraphrase it, so you can look at it later, is found in Exodus chapter 30, verse 11 through 16. Also 38, chapter 38, 25 through 27, you can find information on the silver sockets. So essentially what is happening in chapter 30 is Moses is commanding, or God is telling Moses to tell the people to bring an offering, half a shekel, according to I think 20 geras, I think is what it is. Is the weight, and each person from 20 years old and older was supposed to give this as part of a census. So, the Lord forbid them from, counting people. So the way they got to do census was to count the shekels, or the half shekels in this case, so as to not number the people. But the main point, I think, beyond the obvious, was we're told that this was an atonement money. These are redemption, a ransom for their souls. And it's important to keep that in mind, that this is a one-time offering, by the way. This wasn't part of the normal korbanot, sacrifices, offerings, as a normal part of what would later be instituted as part of the temple service. This was a one-time offering, which was used in the making of the Adonim, the sockets for the tabernacle. Now these sockets, there was 100 of them, made from 100 talents of silver, 1 talent per socket. These formed the foundation, again, that the beams that formed the framework for the Mishkan, which set into. Each beam had 2 tenets, or 2 prongs, if you will, that would literally fit into the sockets, sort of like a giant Lego set, maybe think of it that way. So you have the 2 prongs into the 2 sockets. And that was the uniform part of the Mishkan. Now, in follow-up videos, we're going to talk about the offerings for the rest of the Mishkan and what they represent, how it all works together, and we'll look at some of the things in the Mishkan, like the Ark, and things that go along with that. And I think you're going to find this series pretty fascinating. It's pretty neat stuff. So, what is the deal? What is the point? Why is it that chapter 30, we're told that the poor were not allowed to give less and the rich were not allowed to give more? It was the same half shekel for the super rich, for the Warren Buffetts of the Israelites of that day, to the poorest of the poor. They all gave the same. In modern way of thinking, that's not fair. Why? Well, when we look at the fact that what it represents is our redemption, our atonement, it's a picture of the blood of Messiah, Yeshua. The same sacrifice was given for you, as was given for me, as was given for everybody who accepts the free gift. And it is an awesome picture of the foundation of our faith, the foundation of this Mishkan. The Mishkan, again, was not just a tent in the wilderness. It was, and yes, God met with Moses there, and yes, Joshua was in the tent and didn't want to depart from that place. We're told in Scripture. So it was a very special, a very real thing, but it's also metaphoric, if you will, of our lives and how each of us are to build a Mishkan. Because God says, build in chapter 25 of Exodus, he tells Moses, build me a tabernacle, build me a Mishkan, that I may dwell in them, not it. And again, we'll address this more in subsequent videos, but back to the sockets. This is the foundation upon which we build that place for the Lord to live inside of us. And I hope that you spend some time reading again through chapter 38, 25 through 27, as well as chapter 30, verse 11 through 16, and take a look and consider these sockets. This is the foundation, the very foundation, the atonement, the blood that was shed upon the execution stake for you and for me, that forms the basis for what you and I create in our hearts for the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, Yehovah, to come and dwell in us. I hope this video sparked some thought and was interesting to you. Please subscribe, like, and share this video so many others can get familiar with the things that we teach and grow in their faith with Yeshua. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you and lift up his countenance towards you and give you shalom. God bless.